I don't know what the hell is going on with the continuity, but the guy is changing every single scene. One scene, he looks like he's a 300-pound Mexican gardener who needs to get sent back over the border by ICE. And the next, he's really skinny and weak looking, like some skeleton who didn't get his taco in time.
Just before this video starts, I do want to mention that I have a Discord server. Join if you want to, suggest new video ideas, or come hang out with us. And if you like what you see here today, you'll like pretty much everything else on my channel, so why not subscribe? Thanks. Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be revisiting a topic that I sure do like to come back to, at least every now and again. And it seems that in this video, just like his other tirades on Pedro Pascal, the last person on earth that should be talking about anybody's facial features seems to have gone back to his old ways, as in he seems to be way more focused on race than he usually is. Who am I kidding? He's usually like that. But very recently, he just did a terrible review on the Fantastic Four movie that just came out. And as you may know, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, is my favorite character in Marvel. And it seems that this guy has some weird fixation on Johnny Storm being gay in the movie, which was never even a point or a subplot in the movie at all. There was nothing ever about that. He also seemingly has this weird fixation on the Thing being Jewish, which make of that what you will. But similar to how we did the Captain America Brave New World video, we're going to do the same with this. We'll go over what he says, dunk on him a little bit, and then I'll give you my review on the actual movie.
I watched Fantastic Four First Steps, the same way I watched Superman, keeping true to the wallet's closed motto. Don't go to the cinema, do not give these people your money. Fantastic Four First Steps is as insufferable as Superman. I still stand by what I said. Superman was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I've seen movies from all different time periods, countries, genres, and a lot that you have not even heard of. So do not come in here and try to attack me.
Yeah, like what kind of movies did you see that we haven't? Are you going to tell us that you watched The Godfather played backwards in fucking Italian or something? Also, if you do go on the guy's channel, he had a really apparent hate boner for Superman, saying the usual crap he says about literally anything. It's gay, it's woke, it's trash, it's retarded, it's all this. But the reviews don't say that. Anybody who likes comic books and is an actual comic book fan either enjoyed it, or if they didn't go online and start spewing the utter hogwash that you are. Your reviews on things literally make no sense at all. The only thing that you do and say is the same grifter shtick as pretty much everybody else. You say something, don't back it up, and instead of backing it up, you insert a clip from a film or a movie that's supposed to convey your emotion or feeling towards the film. You calling things gay and woke the entire time during a review is not only lazy, but it starts to show that you have an obsession with a certain group of people, which if you do, I mean, hey, that's your life, man, go for it, but don't try to act like you hate them.
And Fantastic Four is not nearly as bad, I'll tell you the truth, but there is a lot of wokeness, and that cannot be denied. So anybody in the review saying that it isn't woke, do not believe them. It most certainly is. But I can't really be that serious talking about this movie, because even though it is a disgrace to the original comics, Marvel, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, it's also just hilariously cringe. And I don't really give a rat's ass about spoilers, so if you do, then you're miserable and you shouldn't really be watching this video. And for those of you who are ready to witness what Fantastic Four First Steps really was, I salute you, because sometimes it gets so cringe you feel like you're literally about to die. Everything from every Marvel movie that was bad. Weird gayness, obnoxious Marvel humor, radical feminism. And then there's The Thing, which I'll get into a second, or maybe I might not, because that rant is something that a lot of people aren't really ready for. So from the opening scene of this movie, you know what it's gonna be. You think it's a superhero movie. It's gonna be like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. No, it opens with Pedro Pascal in a wife beater, walking around looking for his shirt or something. And with the homo Freddie Mercury mustache and the brown skin, he looks like he's walking around looking for his taco or his boyfriend. And all while this is happening, Sue Storm is sitting on the toilet and screaming out like, give me 12 more seconds. And if you thought that she had a bad case of resting bitch face in every single trailer, it just gets worse. I don't know if it's because she's pregnant or something, but she's always in a mood, and Sue Storm is the biggest feminist bitch on the planet. Also, a quick little note about Pedro Pascal in this movie. I don't know what the hell is going on with the continuity, but the guy is changing every single scene. One scene, he looks like he's a 300-pound Mexican gardener who needs to get sent back over the border by ICE. And the next, he's really skinny and weak looking, like some skeleton who didn't get his taco in time. And speaking of that, I know the Fantastic Four are supposed to age when they come back from that first trip, but the footage of the team on the TV before they went up to that first trip is really retarded. So it shows you the footage. Sue has her usual bitch face on. The thing is, they're looking all Jewish, and that's his entire character. That's the rant we're gonna get to in a second, or maybe I might not even talk about it, because it's really extreme, but it's the truth.
Hey moron, whenever you film somebody, especially from a different angle, they're gonna look different. That's just kind of the way the world works. I don't know why anybody had to explain that to you. Maybe those homeschooling lessons aren't really working out for you as well as you thought. By the way, I had a stream last night, and a guy named Seamus came over from one of the other Ranting for Vengeance videos, popped into the stream, and apparently he knew Ranting for Vengeance in real life, or rather he just went to school with him, came in with an insane lore dump. The guy got kicked out of school apparently for starting a fight, and he's been the laughing stock of the school ever since. Now everything kind of makes sense when you think about it.
The rant we're gonna get to in a second, or maybe I might not even talk about it, because it's really extreme, but it's the truth. I know the Thing is a Jewish character, and Jack Kirby was Jewish, and it was intended that way, but this movie amps it up to 11. Every scene with the Thing, he has no personality, he has no love interest or friends or anything. The dude is just some one-dimensional character whose entire personality trait is, hey look, I'm Jewish. Walking around a New York neighborhood, and oh wait, look in the background, there's synagogues and Stars of David everywhere. But anyways, we'll move on before that gets a little bit too risky.
Yeah, notice how he didn't show any proof for that at all. Like there's no pictures, there's no links to any articles about this at all. Nobody even said anything about this. I didn't even notice it. I was watching the movie. Maybe there might have been one in a passing shot, but even if there was, so what? To say that that's the Thing's entire character in this movie is actually pushing it. I seriously don't know what this guy's fixation on Jewish people is or gay people is. And in the last video that we did where he was talking about the Fantastic Four before the movie even came out, he was saying pretty much the exact same thing. I will say though, with the Thing, a core component to his character is how he's viewed by the rest of the world, how he's seen as a monster. People avoid him. He's not like Bruce Banner. He can't just transform into the Hulk and turn back into a normal person. In my opinion, I would have liked to see a little bit more of that in the movie, but then again, this is about 3 years after the Fantastic Four debuted, so I guess people have gotten used to it, with the Fantastic Four seemingly being the only team in New York or the world, because no other team was mentioned, so I guess people just kind of got over it quickly.
Johnny shows up in this footage looking really gay with his lipstick and his bleached blonde hair. Flaming gay Johnny Storm is the highlight of this movie, and I mean that in every way. The guy is nearly the only guy that you can root for, and then at the same time he's pulling the most spasticated, handicapped, retard faces in every single scene. No, that's not an over exaggeration, it's not a joke. This is the first scene of the movie where they're all sitting down to have family dinner. The Thing tastes some sauce or food he's making like a normal person. Johnny then walks into the room, tries to taste it, and instead shoves his 2 fingers into his mouth.
Nice.
And with the face that he pulls here, God knows what else this guy is putting in his mouth. More on him in a second, but the important part that I was trying to get to is that Pedro Pascal still looks like a 90-year-old taco vendor in this footage. He's supposed to have grey hair when he comes back from the trip. Now he just looks like somebody's great-grandfather. The dude refuses to shave off his little gay mustache for every role. He looks nothing like Reed Richards, because Reed Richards is white. And he's some Mexican dude, or Chilean, or whatever the hell. He's brown, that's all you need to know. And yeah, it would have been a bit more accurate if he shaved his border-hopping face, but still, he doesn't look like Reed Richards. I was talking with somebody and they said that David Corenswet might have actually been a better Mr. Fantastic. He would have looked a lot more like Reed Richards, and the guy's really nerdy in real life, so he probably would have fitted the role. Instead, we got this homo hombre who's just crying for the entire movie. And I'm not joking, in certain shots he's really skinny, in other shots his head is the size of the room, and in other shots he's wearing eyeliner or something and looking extremely gay.
Yeah, bro, you said that like 5 times. I think everybody who's watching heard you. We got ears, bitch. We can hear. I genuinely think that there's something wrong with this guy's brain, or there might be like a disconnect or something, because pretty much anybody who watched his other Fantastic Four movie reviews or him talking about it or whatever make it clear that this is an alternate universe, and it's pretty apparent by the trailers, or even if you just watch the movie. We We've been over this. It it genuinely can't be this hard to understand a simple concept like that. Like I'm genuinely convinced that this guy, whenever he sees Pedro Pascal anywhere, he just sees Speedy Gonzalez. When I first saw Pedro Pascal, I didn't think he was Spanish, and I damn sure didn't think he was from Mexico. Like he keeps saying, he's not from Mexico, by the way. He's Chilean. That's also something we've been over. Little things like him having darker skin than Reed, or him not having as much gray hair, or him having a mustache, in my opinion, I feel like is all just kind of answered by it being a different universe. Because, you know, I've said this before, if you were to make a story about another superhero team but keep everything the same, why even make that story? Like it doesn't make any sense. If your story takes place in a different universe, in the multiverse, things are going to be different.
And there's many scenes that are like that throughout the entire movie, where flaming Johnny Storm and Pedro Pascal start hugging each other and grabbing each other by the necks and looking deeply into each other's eyes. I'm just going to put some screenshots up on the screen right now and just some clips so you can see what I'm talking about.
I take back every single bad thing I've been saying about you. You are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth.
Johnny Storm is so autistic in this movie, it's unbelievable. I heard some reviewers saying that I don't know why Joseph Quinn came out and said that he wasn't a womanizer, because in the movie the biggest plot point that he is a womanizer, especially for Shala Ball, the fake female Silver Surfer bitch. And she's an entirely different story. For everybody defending the CGI and the casting, just no. Just plain no. The CGI is laughably bad, as you could tell from the trailers. Everybody telling you that this looks amazing is lying. Not to mention that, I'm sorry, Shala Ball, you're a little bit too flat for anybody to tell you're even female. That
Are we dead ass right now? We can't be serious. I do just want to say something about Johnny Storm before we even continue. He got his powers when he was, what, 16 in the 60s? The first teenage superhero before Spider-Man. And if this is 3 years later, he's 19, or maybe he's even 20 in this movie. Honestly, it really doesn't matter, especially because of his character. Johnny's character, primarily in the comics, is that of an immature teenager. The amount of times that Johnny has messed something up, either for Reed or the team, because he's playing around or joking around, either just by himself or with Spider-Man, is so much that you probably couldn't even count it on your hands and your toes. So him dipping his entire hand into a pot that he's trying to taste, I really wouldn't say that that's off-brand for him. And him getting sidetracked and hugging Reed because he's excited about the new spacesuits that they got, while not really focused too much on why they need the spacesuits, is also pretty on brand for the character. Now, like I said before, Joseph Quinn definitely could have done a little bit of a better job, or at the very least the writing for Johnny Storm, especially between him and Ben Grimm, could have been a little bit more playful, or at least that's how I would have had it. But none of the stuff that this guy brings up in this video is off brand for Johnny Storm. This is stuff that he would definitely do in the comics, and if he were a real life person, I bet you he would do it in real life too. And that last part about Shala Ball, what are you even talking about, bro? Like, there's no way this isn't bait. Is she supposed to be some ultra hot curvy woman or something? Like, I don't, that's not the focus of the movie.
a little bit too flat for anybody to tell you're even female that far off. That's just me being honest. You could have gotten a hotter actress to come in and play somebody who's gonna get womanized by Johnny Storm. Instead, it's this short-haired bitch who's as flat as a plank of wood, and also she's extremely annoying. But the weird thing is, after the retarded gay antics of autistic Johnny Storm, the storyline between him and Shala Ball, which isn't really a character, that storyline is the only redeeming quality in the entire movie. But it usually gets ruined by jokes or just plain bad writing, so it's not really worth mentioning. So far I covered Sue's bitch face, Jewish thing, eyeliner Mexican Pedro Pascal who looks nothing like Reed, and then the freaky gay Johnny Storm who had his fingers and everything else in his mouth. But now we're gonna get on to some other stuff, like the setting that everybody was saying worked so well and how awesome it was. I don't know where the hell we are. This movie is extremely inconsistent with the continuity of the actors, with the powers of the Fantastic Four, which by God is the crescendo of the cringe. But we'll get to that. The setting is what I'm talking about now, because what the hell is going on? It's some retro futuristic 60s world. Normal people are in like Blade Runner flying cars. It's all kind of jumbled and we never really get an explanation to where the hell we are. And speaking of not knowing where you are, it doesn't really help when every single person in New York City is not white. There's brown people, there's black people who get a big load of screen time. I don't know how the hell there was that many in New York at this time period. Maybe that's why they needed an alternate universe.
Right there. You just said it. You just said why there could be a bunch of other black people in the 60s in New York and why people are in Blade Runner like cars or whatever the fuck you said. That isn't even true either. It's just the Fantastic Four that's flying around. What are you talking about? And plus, even in real life, New York City was starting to become more diverse in the 60s. It's not like black people weren't a thing in New York, bruh.
But there's 10 times too much wokeness and diversity. That's what this is. We're getting shown little black kids every single second, like we're in Africa. And then the next second, we're getting a scene with the Thing where he's walking into his local synagogue for some reason, and he's in there for like 10 minutes. Now, I don't know, comic fans out there try to update me here, and I mean real comic fans who read the original Stan Lee, Jack Kirby stuff. Was the Thing's ethnicity or religion as prevalent in the original comics as it was here? And people are saying that Pedro Pascal acted his ass off, and he most definitely is the leader of the team, which is just not true. Acting your ass off equates to crying over a baby that should not be in this retarded movie. Just like Superman, we came in 2 movies too late. And now onto the final nail in the coffin. There's probably more shit I could call out, but this movie, this is the end of it right here when this scene happened. I'm talking about Sue Storm, which at the start of the movie can go invisible and use a small bit of telekinesis, and by the end of the movie she's Luke Skywalker. That's not a lie. In this obnoxious scene where she has to give birth and is screaming with her bitch plastic surgery face, Johnny tries to come over and help her out, and she just ends up force choking him like Darth Vader. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen Invisible Woman or Invisible Girl or whatever the hell she's called do that, ever. And that was just the tip of the iceberg, because at the end of the movie, Galactus comes to Earth, and yeah, Galactus isn't that bad in this movie. Galactus and the parts with Johnny Storm where he doesn't act gay and retarded are the only good things in the movie, and it's not even that good. If you want what Galactus does in this movie, watch Godzilla -1 or any Godzilla movie for that matter, and they have to devise a big Marvel humor plan to take down Galactus, and all of it goes to crap. And you know what it results in? It results in Sue Storm standing in the middle of the street and using the Force on Galactus. And no, not a small little push. With her feminist bitch face, she can just scream at Galactus and literally push the guy over. Yeah, we're talking about Galactus here, the guy who eats planets. Yeah, some ugly feminist can stand in the middle of the road and take him down using her mind powers. Somebody correct me in the comments or whatever. I don't really care if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, and I don't think that Sue Storm should ever do this.
So you, as a comic book fan, as you would, I guess, call yourself, have never seen Invisible Woman push somebody with her powers? Are we dead ass right now? Also, there's absolutely no issue with Franklin Richards being in the movie. He plays a pretty important role in the story and comes in clutch in the end. And considering how powerful that kid actually is, it makes sense as to why Galactus wanted him in the first place and how Sue got revived in the end anyways. Brother, she's the same person that destroyed a Celestial in Fantastic Four 400. And even if it was one hit, which it wasn't, and it was an actual team effort plus the Silver Surfer to actually get rid of Galactus, that final push killed her. Like, that was the absolute limit of her strength at the time. Anyways, guys, now I'll end this video off by giving you a little bit of my thoughts and rating the movie overall. I really enjoyed the movie. I was glad to see another Fantastic Four rendition, this time in the actual MCU. And, you know, between the Captain America movie and the Thunderbolts, I was really excited for this Fantastic Four movie. I didn't really have a problem with the casting, but at first I did feel a little bit uneasy about the Joseph Quinn Human Torch. But as time went on and the trailers came out and the suits got revealed and we got to see a little bit more of the movie, I didn't really mind it. Like I said before, when I actually saw the movie, that's the only time I really had an issue with Joseph Quinn. And it's clear in my mind that Chris Evans is the best Human Torch, even though that movie comparatively wasn't as good and also didn't do a good job at showing Galactus because, I mean, he was just a giant space cloud at that point. This movie did get me excited to think about what they would do with Franklin Richards' character, and I don't know when the next time we'll see the Fantastic Four. Maybe it's going to be an Avengers Doomsday, and whatever year that's supposed to be, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm going to be happy to see them and Human Torch working together with a bunch of the other characters. I'm glad that this movie made me think about the future in a good way, because honestly, that's what movies are supposed to do, especially if they're connected to an extended universe. They're supposed to make you think, oh, what if this character teamed up with this character? They're supposed to get the imagination rolling, and I really enjoyed that. Like I was saying before, though, the Thing's character, I feel like they could have done a better job at showing maybe what things were like for him in the first year of him actually being the Thing. Maybe he got some stares, maybe people called him a monster and he felt some type of way about it. I just feel like having things 3 years into the future isn't too good for the Thing's character because it really doesn't show his growth and his acceptance of what he has become. But like I was saying, with the last time we were talking about the Fantastic Four, I really like the comic accuracy with the character. He looks a lot a lot better than the last time we saw the Thing. So I'm just glad we got this representation of the character. I don't really care what anybody else says. Reed Richards as Pedro Pascal, it worked. The funny thing is that before this movie even came out, as usual, the grifters would take any little bit of knowledge that they would get from the movie, either leaking or coming from another inside source or from screenings or whatever, and they would go on this tirade about, oh, Sue is going to be the leader of the team, and the MCU, oh, it's killing Marvel. And they would just start whining and complaining about nothing. When in actuality, Reed was clearly the leader. And so when you have one of the best movies of this year come out and pretty much disprove all the lies that has been said, you start getting stuff that's really, really odd, like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic of all people actually calling the movie good. However, going back to Reed Richards, I feel like Pedro Pascal really fit the character. The way that he was written in this movie, it showed the brainiac side of him just as much as the loving and caring father and brother to Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm that he is. I'm sure when Avengers Doomsday comes along, we'll get that, yeah, I'm Reed Richards, I'm the top intellect in the Marvel Universe type of thing. But for now, this is good. And finally, with Sue Storm, I like how they portrayed her character, and I also think Vanessa Kirby was a good casting for her. Admittedly, if they were to go with a younger actress, I feel like it would be alright too, but I feel like Vanessa Kirby did a good job at embodying what Sue Storm is for the group, which is the mother of the group. Maybe it's because she's pregnant in real life, but I really got the sense that she wasn't going to give Franklin up, even to some primordial god that was born at the beginning of this universe. I also appreciated the fact that they had Sue give her life essentially to defeat Galactus, showing that above all else, she's also a hero. Johnny also almost had a sacrificial play, but got pushed out of the way by Silver Surfer, which, I mean, is also low-key on brand for the character. If you remember what happened with the Negative Zone, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But overall, I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely go see it if you like the Fantastic Four. And if you're an actual comic book fan, not in the way that Ranting for Vengeance is talking about. I'm talking about, like, if you, number one, do read the comics, aren't some weirdo who cares too much about race or if somebody's gay or not. And if you're still a fan of Marvel, this movie's for you. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.